The donuts and the latkes, you know it. All right, well, let's go on to the player ratings, and let's start off with Vicario. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. It was a fairly quiet night for Vicario, to be honest. One save during the day, which was kind of a routine save. He did flap at one corner, which Basuma had to spare his blushes with saving on the line with a brilliant challenge from him. But yeah, not much in there from Vicario, to be honest.
Yeah, it was actually, given how many shots Man City had, it was actually quite a relatively quiet day for him. He only had to make one save, but I think where he really earned his money for me, why I gave him a 7, was I actually thought his distribution really good. 7 out of his 12 long balls were accurate, which is a good stat for a goalkeeper, especially when the passes from him were quite effective into Solanke and allowed us to get up the pitch, and it led to some opportunities as well. Obviously, Solanke had to make a lot of them, but I thought his distribution much improved. And yeah, look, he didn't have to make too many saves, but I thought obviously the corner wasn't great, and you know, I still don't know what he was doing. I've looked at the back of it so many times, and he does completely, he's just in no man's land. Maybe he just thought before the corner, I'm coming for this no matter what, and it was a bad decision because it nearly cost us a goal. But I think his overall game was actually pretty decent.
If Basuma doesn't spare his blushes there, you're probably giving him a 5.
Yeah, marking him down for sure, yeah.
So he's lucky in that sense. But let's move on to Radu Dragusin. 7 all round for Radu. Stepped in admirably well. I think from a purely defensive aspect, I thought he was brilliant. No nonsense defending, crushing into challenges. It was on the ball where I had a bit of it. He looked really nervy on the ball, particularly in the first half when he was out on the left. Once he moved out to the right, I did think he looked a lot more comfortable, which gives me a lot of positive thinking to go into the next game with him. He has to be on the right, in my opinion. But from a purely defensive standpoint, I thought he was brilliant, and he's getting a lot of plaudits for his performance yesterday, and quite rightly so.
Yeah, and I was pretty happy with him. You know, big game, big opportunities, show what you can do. And I thought he did pretty well overall, and I thought as well, most of that second half, he's being partnered with Ben Davies, and against a really good Man City side, he's got to be the main centre-back, kind of physically in the penalty area, dominate and marshal that back line, albeit Davies was doing a bit of that as well. But very happy for him. But as you say, on the ball just looks still quite awkward. The passing forward not as crisp as the likes of Romero can be, albeit didn't make too many big mistakes playing out the back, which maybe he has done previously.
Just looked nervy,
but still just looked awkward. Yeah, looked nervy. Just didn't look comfortable playing the ball forward. Always looking for the easy option. And yeah, that's something he just needs to improve on.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to go to Cuti Romero. 8s all round for Cuti, and I thought he was brilliant. I remember just saying to you halfway through the game, I mean, Romero's just gobbling up everything today. Tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances with quality. I mean, I thought he put in his I thought that was his best display of the season. I really thought it was that strong. It was lovely to see. I mean, yeah, maybe he was slightly at fault for the goal for being drifted out of position, but I thought apart from that, I thought he was perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously his game only lasted 52 minutes, but I thought he was absolutely fantastic, probably one of our best players in that time. So I thought he had a dominant display, so aggressive. When he's in that mood, when he's just so aggressive, getting close to all the attackers, you know, really, you got to be really happy with that kind of display. And then obviously you just see his ability on the ball. Some of the passes he played directly to Deki in that into space were just fantastic and really set us up in good moments. And he's just got nerves of steel when he's playing out the back. Everyone gets really nervous. The crowd, you can feel the tension, but not for Romero. He knows what he's doing. And yeah, I thought it was a really good display. And shame only lasted 52 minutes. Let's hope he's okay.
Let's go to Mickey van der Ven. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 5. Only lasted 15 minutes, going off with a hamstring strain. I'm not sure why he started the game, because you saw him clearly holding his hamstring in the warm-up before the game. But look, he only lasted 15 minutes, so there's not much to judge. But I guess he won his duels and put in a few challenges. But yeah, not much in there to talk about.
Yeah, I've obviously made that one challenge on Savio, which was brilliant, and he started the game in confident mood. Unfortunately, it was cut short due to that hamstring strain or whatever it was, or the feeling in his hamstring. So hope he's okay. Let's just hope it's not too bad. But I thought when he was on the pitch, he played really well, but it was only, as you say, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah. Archie Gray next. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I felt like he was a bit out of his depth in the first half. I thought Nunes was, I wouldn't say destroying him, but getting past him quite a few times, let's put it that way. So I thought he did look a bit out of his depth, but second half was a massively improved performance. He learnt from the first half and he delivered. So got to give him credit for that second half performance.
Yeah, and I think he really grew into the game. I think as soon as he got comfortable in that position, with what Man City were throwing at him, I thought he started to excel, started to do some really nice build-up stuff down the right-hand side, play some really nice balls to Brennan and Deki as well, and obviously was involved in the build-up for the goal with a nice ball down the line to Brennan, who flicked it down to Deki. So did improve, made a really good tactical foul near the end of the game as well, which stopped Man City on the counter-attack, which was really, really important. Yes, Nunes gave him a tough ride at times yesterday, but how much actually came from that side when it came to shots and goal and stuff like that? Not much. And I thought he was part of quite a good defensive unit. Obviously in the goal he gets tucked in and loses Nunes. Don't think it's completely on him, but I think the organisation was a bit wrong at that point. But I thought in general, I think it was a decent performance from him.
Yeah, Rodrigo Bentancur, Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8, which carries on his good form this season, in my opinion. I thought he was such a key cog into the reason why we looked so hard to play against yesterday. I mean, he was full of running, he was full of aggression. I mean, how many challenges and interceptions he was putting in that middle of the park, always thinking forward as well, Rodrigo Bentancur. So I was so impressed with his performance, and he was winning the majority of his duels as well against the Man City side. So big up to Rodrigo, because he put in another really good display.
Yeah, top display from Bentancur. What I like about him when he's in these positions, he's just very, very disciplined, and he knows what areas to pick up and cover. And sometimes when Basuma's in those positions, he can go wandering a bit. And I think Bentancur always gives us a presence in that position when he's there, and I thought he did so much great covering. I thought he did so much great work on the edge of the box, helping out his defenders as well, making sure Man City were just there was no way through that central area, and I thought he did a really good job for the team. So well done, Rodrigo.
Deki up next, 9s all round for Dejan Kulusevski, and he responded to most definitely his worst performance of the season against Crystal Palace, with an absolutely brilliant performance here at Man City. We said it before the game, he loves playing against Man City, and here's another bit of evidence towards that. Ends up with 2 assists on the day. First one was a brilliant assist for Timo Werner across the face of goal. The second one was a nice pass out to Pape Sarr, and Pape obviously did what Pape did, which we'll get into in a minute. But I thought apart from those 2 assists, I mean, he could have ended up with 3 assists if he decided to pick out Solanke when he decided to take the shot on. But I thought he was so aggressive, always taking the game to Man City. When he's in that kind of mood, like he has been for pretty much every game this season apart from that Crystal Palace game, he's just so hard to handle, and Pep was talking about him after the game, saying what a great player he is. So I can't wax lyrical about Deki enough this season, because since moving into these central areas, he's just too hot to handle. Yeah,
and he picks up all sorts of positions which the opposition struggled to deal with. And on the day, 4 key passes, which goes to show how creative he was and how many chances he was creating. He had that chance as well, which he went through, and his effort was saved by Ortega. And what I love about Deki in this position, because obviously he's so great centrally and picks up such great areas, and he's so strong, so he's so hard to shuffle off the ball, but as well when he goes wandering over to the wing, like he did for the first goal, because of his time as a winger, he knows how to deal with those situations as well, and he could be really effective in those situations. So it makes him even more hard to deal with. And I like how he interchanges with Brennan, and he can go out wide and help him out, and then he can cut inside and create chances as well, which he did do in that second half. I think he put one on for Timo, who shot over the bar, and he's just such a nuisance for the opposition. But I thought he did a lot of great defensive work, but a lot of the reason why we were able to sustain attacks against Man City and explore that space was a large part to Deki and what he provides going forward. And he just goes from strength to strength. Another 2 assists for him, and another brilliant performance.
Pape Matar Sarr, 8s all round for Pape, only lasted 45 minutes. He was on a booking, and he made 4 fouls on the day. So I mean, I think he was on the verge of getting sent off if he wasn't. He was definitely on his last warning, that's for sure, because he did put in a challenge in the last few moments of that first half, where it was kind of like a borderline yellow card, and the referee did let him get away with it, in my opinion. But look, he scores that brilliant goal. Really picked that one out. He had all the bend and the swerve and right in the corner as well. Proper top quality from Pape Matar to find the net from that area. But apart from that, I felt like he was like keeping that midfield and the team together. All that passing. I mean, he kept passing it in really good areas of the pitch, keeping the ball ticking over. He was aggressive in the middle of the park as well. So, I mean, this guy is growing and growing into the season and just had his best moment of the season. So long may it continue. Yeah,
and he's being really effective at the moment. He's coming in, he's taking his opportunities when he's found them. We know that he struggled near the beginning of the season, but yeah, I think he's been so great over the past few games, and another example of it yesterday. And he's adding those goal contributions that when you're competing with the likes of Maddison and Deki for those spots in the centre, that is something you're going to have to provide, or something you're going to have to show you're capable of doing. And brilliant goal yesterday, brilliant technique on the shot. That's his third goal of the season so far, which I think matches his total of the whole last season when it comes to goals. I think albeit two of them being Europa League. But still, fantastic strike, really, really brilliant stuff from Pape, and I thought he just helped Bentancur with his defensive duties yesterday so well. Yes, he made 4 fouls, a lot of them tactical fouls, just breaking up Man City. Is no surprise. They looked a bit disjointed and found lack of rhythm because of what he was doing to break up the play, and got rewarded with his goal as well. So brilliant stuff from Pape.
Timo Werner, 8 all round for Timo, which is definitely the biggest rating that we've given him this season. Got his goal in the opening 5 minutes, which was a brilliant finish, instinctive finish that I don't think the keeper could have saved. Brilliant stuff. And I felt like for the time he was on the pitch, he was just a constant threat down that left-hand side, getting in good areas, taking on his man, showing his pace. Yeah, he got in good situations where he probably could have got more than a goal, but the key message is he actually got on the score sheet this time, and he was a constant threat throughout. And when you're judging him against the two other players in our front line with Solanke and Brennan Johnson, I felt that he provided so much more of a threat than those two.
Yeah, and I thought Timo looking a lot more confident in this game for one reason or another. He said after the game how difficult the last few weeks have been for him, and we could see that on the pitch. With every missed chance, his head drops lower and lower. But you know, maybe that goal right at the start of the game just gave him that little shot of energy and shot of confidence that he needed, because he took it so well. Maybe it helped he didn't have a lot of time to think about it. But again, getting in that position, making sure he's busting a gut to get in that position on the left-hand side and in attacking the space ruthlessly. And this time when it fell to him, he didn't think twice, into the back of the net. Brilliant finish past Ortega, and he was, as you say, a constant threat in behind, and you need that when you're playing against Man City, because Man City pen you in and they dominate possession, and they try and not let you out. And he did brilliantly, just getting in behind and making sure that even when Man City do that, he's still stretching them and still forcing them to think about where he's going to be. And had the goal, he had the chance where he was through 1-on-1 and was unfortunate, took it well, but just whiskered wide of the post. Was confident enough to cut inside and have a couple of shots on 25 yards, albeit probably not the best shots on that occasion, but still had the confidence to do it. Set up a chance for Brendan Johnson as well, so he was a constant threat down that left-hand side, and that's no mean feat to do that against a team like Man City. So fair play to Timo, and hopefully more performances like that, I guess.
Yeah, let's hope so. Next up is big Dom Solanke, 7s all round for Dom. I think he, again, what you know you're going to get with Dom is he's going to run his socks off and work his socks off, and I think he did that last night. He had a bit of quality in his passing as well. He laid one really good chance for his one key pass in the game. I think he offers us so much, Solanke. He really does, when he drops deep and his build-up play and his aggression and his pressing. But the reality is, as a number 9, for his past 4 or 5 games, he hasn't got a shot on target. And I would like to see him become a bit of a goal threat where he really hasn't been. Maybe if Kulu plays it to him in the back post, I'll be changing my tune a bit today. But the reality is, in the last 5 games, he hasn't had a shot.
Yeah, and that is something to, I don't know whether it's something to be worried about, but it's definitely something to note, because when we got Solanke, 19 goals last season, poacher in the box. That is, you know, we expected he would be always a goal threat. At the moment, he's doing such a great job for the team, and you see what he offers. The amount of times Vicario just goes direct to him, he's able to keep the ball and get it on his chest like it's Velcro onto his chest, and he just able to keep the ball. The brilliant through ball to Timo Werner, who should have scored probably with his chance as well. Shows he's still got that all-round game, and he's still providing such a great work for the team that it's worth having him on the pitch even if he isn't a goal threat. But the fact is, he's a striker, and we need him to be a goal threat in every game. We can't, as much as he's doing great work for the team, we need him to be getting in the box and getting shots on goal as well when he can. So that's something we need to work on. That's something we need to get more service into him in good positions. But I still think he's earned his spot in the team as long as he's playing in this all-round way.
Brennan Johnson, the last of the starting 11. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 5. I felt like he wasn't in the game maybe as much as he should have been, and maybe he has been in the past. The stat reads he only got 17 touches throughout the 70 minutes he was on the pitch. Look, he made a couple of good runs and had a couple of shots on target, which is a credit to him. But I felt like for the most part, he wasn't making maybe the runs to the back post like we know he has been doing in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think he played all right. I think obviously involved in the first goal, brilliant flick down the line to Deki, which was good. Obviously there was one effort he had which was a kind of a volley straight down the keeper's throat. He had another effort from the I guess we have the Sonny zone. We might have to call this the Johnson zone on the right hand side of the penalty box. Drags it across the face of goal. Good save by Ortega, tipping it wide. Maybe not as threatening as someone like Timo Werner was throughout the game, but I still think was involved in enough good moments and provided enough to do a good job for the team. For the goal, though, we conceded. Didn't cover himself in much glory. Left Nunes free, who ended up poking at home in the back post, and that would be frustrating. But I thought Johnson still provided enough threat just for me to say he had a decent game. So I gave him a 7.
I don't know about you, but I feel like his performances have diminished a bit since he's come back on social media.
Yeah,
I'm calling for a campaign to get him off social media again.
I'm not going to go into that, but you can start a hashtag if you want.
Subs, Destiny Doggy, who came on for Van de Ven early stages of the game. 7s all round for him. Probably could have got closer to Savinho to block the cross for the goal that Man City scored. But apart from that, I felt like he was involved in a lot of really good build-up play down that left-hand side of the pitch. So yeah, worry that he's playing so much football, and whenever he goes on the bench, he's forced to come on through an injury or a red card or whatever it may be. But yeah, he doesn't let his standards drop. So big up to Destiny.
Yeah, but it is starting to be a bit of a theme with Destiny where he is letting crosses come across the box on his side. And obviously happened at West Ham. It's happened a few times now. And albeit we are allowing people to be free at the back post, which is also frustrating, but he's also allowing these crosses to come in too often. So that's something he needs to work on. But I think in general, still so strong, so effective. I think he dealt with, Savinho was getting a bit of joy, but I know he got the assist, but I thought in general he dealt with him really well. He's so strong, and I thought when he came on, he was really, really solid. So I think 7 is fair rating.
Bissouma, Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. A couple of sloppy moments in there from Biss, but he was on the pitch for 45 minutes because Sarr was about to get sent off, and Bissouma gets an early booking and he could have got sent off himself because he just, the thing is that really annoys me with Bissouma, he just puts in these stupid fouls sometimes where he just doesn't need to do it, and he picks up silly bookings quite often. However, I did feel like he added a lot for the team off the ball. He was putting in some really important challenges, and obviously the most important one is the goal line saving clearance, which ultimately won us the game. So he's got to get marked off massively for that, completely saving Bucario's blushes. So if it wasn't for Bissouma on the line there, we either go on to, we could be looking at penalties, and it's 50-50 whether we go into the next round. So big up to Biss.
Yeah, I thought really strong second half show from Biss. I think there is definitely an argument he was lucky to stay on the pitch, got booked, and then had a foul on, I think it was Rico Lewis, and the referee definitely gives him a talking to at that point, but could have been a second yellow. I don't think he'd have any complaints, but I actually thought him and Bentancur, that shield they provided for the defence was really, really effective, and they did such a good job just making sure we saw out the game. And as you said, that clearance off the line was brilliant. It was actually like sticks a leg out, and that was such a big moment in the game, as you say, game-winning moment from Bissouma. And I thought with some moments as well, he just relieved the pressure with some really good composed play in the middle, able to clip it out to certain players and start us on counter-attack. So I thought the sub really helped us see out the game. from Ange.
Ben Davies up next. Him gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. Had to come on in the early stages of that second half with Romero, who Ange wanted to take off as a precaution, apparently. And I thought he was part of a defence that was really solid, that didn't let Man City have any serious chances in that second half. Everyone was probably worried when they saw Ben Davies in a pairing with Radu Dragusin to close out that game with. But I thought he stood up really well for the team and showed his experience.
Yeah, and I thought he was brilliant when he came on. Didn't put a foot wrong, was really aggressive, made sure that he was getting to passes first as well. I thought his heading was really good. I thought he was winning quite a few aerial challenges. And I just thought on the ball, added a bit more composure on that side to what Dragusin was offering, was able to play the ball a bit more confidently. And, you know, we're all quite worried when he came on that, is he going to get bullied and all these kind of things? It's going to be him and Dragusin in the centre. I thought he did really well. I think he deserves a lot of credit for how he came on and performed. So I'm going to give him credit, Ben Davies. I gave him an 8.
Next up is Richarlison. 7s all round for Richie. Definitely his best display of the season so far. He came on and he just provided a real good service for the team where, you know, he was really hard to deal with. I felt he was putting in challenges, winning the ball high up the pitch. Dribbling ability was on show. He was a threat. He was a constant nuisance to Man City. And yeah, look, he wins the ball. He picks up the ball from a bad pass from Gvardiol, and he's got to be scoring that. But apart from that moment, I think he did everything else really well on the pitch. So I give massive credit to Richarlison because he's looked really rusty the last couple of games. And yesterday, he looked on point.
Yeah, he looked a lot sharper, albeit it didn't look sharper in front of goal with that chance. But I thought down that left-hand side, I know it's at the moment it's not his favourite position, but I thought he did a really good job for the team defensively and also on the ball, just relieving pressure, winning fouls. Did a brilliant skill, I think, past one of the City players to get us up the left-hand side as well. So credit to Richarlison. I think, you know, as we know, he's had his injury problems and his season's only just started, so it's no surprise he's looked a bit rusty and stuff, but hopefully that sharpness is coming back now. I think there was evidence of that yesterday.
And last but not least of the playing staff, Mikey Moore. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. Came on for the last 20 minutes. Barely got involved, to be honest. Out on that right-hand side, and he had a couple of touches. But yeah, I mean, he barely got involved. I think the stats read he had 5 touches on the day. So, I mean, there's not much in there.
Yeah, but I think most of his good work was done defensively, just helping out Archie Gray when he needed it, and he definitely needed it late in that game. And he did a good job for the team, mucked in when he came on, which is going to be a very important part of his learning curve. And it was just nice to see that in such a big game for us, he was trusted for a good chunk of it. A 17-year-old trusted in this kind of occasion, whereas last season that probably wouldn't have happened, or seasons gone by. We wouldn't have trusted such a young player at such a pivotal moment. And I thought he came on and just tactically made sure that he was helping out Archie Gray and made it as difficult as possible for City to get overloads.
Yeah. And let's finish off with the manager, Mr. Ange Postecoglou. 8s all round for Big Ange, and he gets over the line in a massive game against the best team in the country, 2-1. And I think it's the first time under Ange's tenure that we've won a game in this kind of manner, where we're mucking in, really hard to beat. Sat deep, really compact, hard to beat, didn't concede too many chances to a really good side. I thought he made the good changes in the game as well. I thought Richarlison made an impact when he came on. Ben Davies, albeit 2 of the changes were forced because, maybe Romero wasn't so forced because Romero wanted to stay on the pitch, but look, he made the right decision to take off Romero for a precaution because we need him in the games that we've got coming up. I think he made a smart decision to take off Sarr at half-time because he was probably going to get sent off with one more foul. So I think he managed the game really well. The team managed the game really well, so he's got to get all the credit. Yeah,
and a good win, good performance, and I think the team adjusted well, and he's got to be thankful. He's got to be praised for that because the team won in a different way. We showed a different side to us yesterday, where we're able to muck in for a bit and able to be solid and defend deep, and that's what sometimes against a team like City you got to do, and we did that. And that's what a lot of people have been calling for, show a different side to you. But what I liked about it is, as much as we showed a different side, we still maintained a threat. We still maintained a threat going forward. I think sometimes when you look at other teams who have done that and they get praised for, oh, look how they defended. But, sometimes they're forced too far back, and they don't concentrate on always maintaining a threat going forward. And I think that was a good balance we showed yesterday. As much as we were deep for a lot of the game, we still made sure that when we got the ball, we were being effective with it and getting forward and creating chances. And that's exactly what we did, and that's really, really great to see. And as you say, makeshift back line, we had to make a few changes during the game where our main defenders went off, and yet we still were able to see out the victory. And I think Ange managed it brilliantly yesterday, and I thought he did really well to get us over the line.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is our player ratings. Please do go download SofaScore. The QR code is on screen right now, and the link is in the description below as well. But let's go into